and welcome back to a new episode of Real Talk Live, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and all the latest entertainment news. And boy, we have some very interesting entertainment news to talk about today. I'm Krypton Cage, and I'm joined here by my co-host, the Viking. How are you doing, man? After yesterday?
Yeah, well, I was watching the Oscars and I was posting the news on our pages, and I was pretty tired, so I was like, okay, you guys handle the pages. I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna go to sleep because the Oscars wasn't that exciting. There wasn't like too many movies that I actually loved throughout the year that were nominated and stuff like that. So like I go to sleep, nothing's happening, and I go to sleep, and then I wake up a few hours later to find out that Will Smith and Chris Rock had an altercation, and also I stayed up long enough to see that Zack Snyder's Justice League won an award, which was awesome, but I fell asleep, so I missed the Army one. So I woke up to some good news as well. So yeah, it was. I thought the Oscars were okay, but there was some really bright spots and some entertaining spots from this year's event. But yeah, we'll talk about it. No, I thought it was. I just like seeing all the stars dressed up and beforehand. That's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah, and definitely we'll be talking about the Oscars. Well, not the whole thing because that would be a 1 hour show on its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just jump right into the first topic of today, which is Halo. So finally, I got to watch the first episode of Halo this past weekend, and I actually really liked it. I thought that okay, so first from the trailers, I thought that it looked pretty good. It looked high budget and it looked interesting because it's kind of similar to the game, but it's not completely similar to the game. So I was curious how they are going to evolve the story because they always adapt when it comes to live action, right? So I'm okay with adapting like that for movies and TV shows because their primary goal is not to provide you the gaming experience. Their goal is to provide you a good story and a good movie or series, whatever. So that's what I was interested in. Um, the designs were spot on. Master Chief's looks epic. He just looks amazing. All the spaceships and the planets, the space visuals, all of that looked on point. I really liked how that played out. But when I watched the episode, as soon as it began, it kind of looked like, okay, maybe this is not as good as I expected for like the first 1 minute. But then something completely shocking happens, and I was like, whoa, because um, I don't know if we can talk spoilers, but I would. Okay, maybe I'll just avoid it for this week. Maybe from next week onwards we'll talk spoilers. But something shocking happens. Okay, in the middle of this scene going on, something shocking happens. There are kids involved, and I was like, whoa, they're doing that in this show. And immediately I was taken aback by that. So that kind of got my attention, and I did not expect that from a Halo series, and that was kind of impressive. Not just because of that scene, but because of what it promises. So yeah, and after that, we have in the show we saw the Spartans, the whole team. We saw some aliens. We saw the battle. We saw some action. All of that was pretty awesome. But then the story was kind of not welcoming for a member like me who is not that into the game and curious about the series on its own. It kind of felt like they didn't do a very good job at making me love it because the first episode itself was not something that I really loved, but I liked it. I thought it was interesting and I was interested in watching more. And so that's, I think that did a good job, right? So that's how I felt. But again, I would say this. I think they did a big mistake releasing just one episode. I thought that they should have released two episodes because I'm not sure how many people will, watch the second episode now after this one. Maybe 2 episodes would have given people more of a taste of this world. And I would have loved to see it. I'm definitely gonna watch it anyway because it's Halo and I'm interested in it, but I'm not sure how many people will go back to watch it. So I thought that, they should have released a second episode as well. And I would have liked to see it actually, because the end of this episode kind of was a little bit unsatisfactory based on what the episode was about. So I would have liked to see the second episode as well. But anyway, that's how I felt about the first episode. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I'm interested in seeing where this goes. You saw the episode. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I remember watching the trailers and I was like, this show looks amazing. Some of the visuals and I never played the games, but I like Master Chief and how he looked in the suit. So I was very intrigued for this series and I had high hopes for it. And yeah, I started watching it like you. And you know what? I didn't love the first episode at all. And maybe they should have released 2 or 3 episodes to start off because I'm not fully embraced into the story yet. And I just thought like the opening action sequence was pretty brutal. As you said, they actually show some blood as well, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is I think they showed the actual they show the character's face in this episode near the end,
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief. I'm like, it's always cool to keep kind of a mystery
Yeah.
to a character. Like he doesn't look like anything special; he just looks like a guy. But to keep that mystery, I always remember watching The Mandalorian. I knew it was Pedro Pascal, but we don't get to see him throughout the season until maybe the last episode of season one. Take off the helmet. I thought that was pretty cool. So you keep this kind of mystery to the character. This character has a bit of a swag to him and a bit of presence. And if you're a wrestling fan, if there's a character with a mask, they're always intriguing and interesting. And then when the mask is taken off, it's like it loses a bit of value. It loses something special. So that kind of happened for me in this episode.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed to take off the mask at all. Or the helmet, sorry. So they should have kept it because he looked badass. He looked cool. The alien stuff, that whole action scene, it wasn't terrific or anything. It wasn't, oh my god, special. The CGI though, I thought was very poor and like really bad. And I was expecting the CGI to be impeccable for this series for some reason, just by judging by the trailers. Just the way the Spartans, they ran, they moved, they jumped. It just didn't look right at all to me at times, and it kind of took me out of it because I was expecting this really, really
You
good
know,
action sequences.
about the Spartans, I would say that I think they were trying to suggest that they are kind of evolved humans or superhumans or something, because I agree with you. Like the way they were jumping around, it didn't feel like gravity was present.
Yeah, it took me out. I didn't like that part at all. And I was expecting, okay, if the story is not going to be all there, at least the action will be. And for me, it was pretty mediocre. And I haven't played the games, as I said, so maybe it's very like the games. Maybe it's maybe it looks like the games. I don't know, but this isn't a game. This is a TV series, and many people who are going to watch this haven't played the games, and they're the people that are going to make this show a success or not.
Hmm.
So look, I didn't really look at any reviews of it or online talk about it. I wasn't really online much over the weekend, but for me, it wasn't the best start. And maybe episode 2 is amazing, maybe episode 3 is amazing, but they should have released a couple of episodes because that's what most of the streaming services do right now. Apple TV,
Yeah.
they release a few episodes, so it gets you interested, gets the discussion going, and you're like, then you know where you stand with the series for the rest of the season. So it is a little bit worrying to me that they didn't release 2 or 3,
They were
and it's already
very
because
confident.
yeah, but there's we're already getting a season 2,
Yeah.
so they are confident in some way, but for me, I don't think it was the best start. It's like we have this kind of Mandalorian-esque Baby Yoda storyline, maybe, where these characters are like outcasts and maybe on the run now, or there's some hidden agenda. I did like though, how it kind of hints that Master Chief is not quite normal, or he's not like every other Spartan or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was getting visions of, I don't know if it was him as a kid living a life where he has parents, and he has a dog or something like that. He like, but it's not a soldier's life. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes and see how much they explore that side of the character, because I found that interesting. But everything else outside of Master Chief, I didn't really like that much.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. And I think that they should have released 2 episodes as well. Even the Mandalorian did that, and like that's Disney. Everybody will like that
Yeah,
anyway. So even they
yeah,
did that. So I don't know. It's a new streaming service. You had to pull in viewers, but you released just 1 episode. I don't know. But as far as I could tell, for me, it kind of worked, and I am interested in watching more. So let's hope that the rest of the season is great. Because yeah, I wouldn't say that this was one of the best starts, but it's good. It's okay. So let's see how that goes. And yeah, let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Moving on to the second topic of today. And yes, we are back with Severance, episode 7. Oh my
yeah.
god. Look,
Dude, isn't this is right? Yes or no? Is Severance the best series of 2022 so far?
yes,
I think so too. It's really good.
100%. Dude, they just how do you every single week how do you keep putting out better episodes than the last one and being so great? It's it's so mind-boggling to me because look, we talked about how every single episode has been great so far, and episode 7 just blew my mind at the end. It was so shocking when that reveal happened. Maybe not for everyone, because I think a bit of that or part of that, reveal was spoiled on Reddit a few days ago, a few weeks ago, or something. And thankfully, I didn't know about it, so that was very surprising to me. And yeah, dude, like the whole episode was just so amazing, and it all built up to that reveal, which actually, paid off so many setups, which we didn't even know were setups. And going back, in previous episodes and watching some scenes, now you will understand why those scenes happened because of this reveal, and you'll be, even more mind blown. So I'm definitely going to one of the things that I'm going to do is definitely watching the season 1 after it ends again. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, overall the episode was really good. We still have 2 more episodes to go. I'm really, really curious to see where this goes. I really, really hope that they stick the landing, because this has been one of the best shows I've ever seen, and the best show definitely for this year. And just the finale has to be good. Just be good. Don't even be, disappointing or satisfactory or even great or exceptional. Just be good. Please, just be good.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have these innies and outies of the characters, the work version and the home version, and I think only like is I think Mark is the only character that we've followed outside into the real world who's been severanced. I know we've had PD and stuff like that, but he was, he's not in it anymore. So like there's Irving, there's Helly, there's the other guy that works in the office. Like we don't know anything about their personal lives. We haven't followed them like too closely or anything. But the show has given them character development in 7 episodes with these characters that were basically kind of born within this world. So it's yeah, it's very well made. It's very meticulated. And I think Ben Stiller directed this episode, and he's fantastic. But yeah, that twist at the end, we knew it was going to be somebody, but I actually wasn't expecting it to be that character. And as you said, if you go back and watch the previous episodes, how that character interacts with other characters, you can pick up some things there. But it's very like Christopher Walken's character and John Turturro's character. You could tell the second those characters were on screen together earlier this season that they had a previous history, and it looks like they do. So I wonder what is the story with those characters in the real world and the outer world. So yeah, and then we have there's some kind of there's some kind of group that's trying to wake up the Severance people as well, and PD was involved with them, so that's going to develop more now. Mark is involved with them, and he had the passcode key that he gave to himself. He put it into his pocket, and then his innie version found it. So we kind of have. I'm sure there's some kind of mythological story or some kind of book or something or something. There's something to read on where yeah, a group of characters found themselves in a situation and they tried to get out of it from the inside or take it down from the inside because at the end of the episode, John Turturro's character basically says, and this guy has always followed the rules. He's always been kind of, this is the way. Says like let's burn this place to the ground. So you have those four characters who are now coming together with the intention to get out of here for one, but also take down Lumen Industries. And the other character, I forget his name, the guy with the glasses. He has found out that he has kids on the outside in the real world, and this has
Yeah.
messed him up. And he's like, "What? I have kids? What? I'll never get to see them." But he does get to see them every day he leaves work. But that's the thing. It's the same character, it's the same person, but it's two different personalities every single time.
Yeah.
And they have two different versions of feelings and thoughts and how they want to live their life. And that's very interesting and also scary because, as we said before, the indie version, when the day ends, 5 o'clock, their work day ends, they get into the elevator closes, then it opens right back up, and they start work again for another day. They don't get to experience relaxation or love or downtime or eating dinner. They don't get to experience any of that whatsoever, and that's kind of scary. I know they do experience it, but that version of themselves doesn't. And yeah, I think it's just fantastic. It really is. And then there's also this mystery of the board members, sorry, where we're never showing them. But Patricia Arquette's character is always in contact with them, and she's kind of scared of them. But then in this episode, it looked like that they're also kind of scared of her because she's very good at her job, and she kind of lays down the law with them, saying, "Yeah, I'll sort this out. I'll fix it all." So yeah, it's and also her character's weird as well because she's not Severance, but she's paying so close attention to Mark on the outside. Like, who is she to Mark? Like, why is she so fascinated to Mark? And then there was a scene as well with Mark's sister who was just given birth, and also Patricia Arquette's character is a nurse on the outside. She's a totally different person, and she's helping with the baby. And Mark's sister says, "Yeah, I met this woman at the kind of retreat where they give birth, like this fancy place. She seemed different. It seemed like she was severanced." And then she wondered, "Do people get severanced like because they don't want to experience child labor? Like, what happened to her? Like, do other people get severanced for like a big exam or something else? Like, it's just how far does this go? How far does Lumen Industries and the severance procedure go? Because the, it's very it's very weird and interesting because Mark lives in an estate that's like Lumen Industries provide him a house, and you never get to see anyone else, only him and Patricia Arquette's character. So it's messed up, and I can't wait to see how this season ends. It will probably get a season two,
Yep.
but it can't just end on a cliffhanger and not give us any resolutions to any of the on any of these storylines. It has to give us something to say, wow, that's what was going on. That's messed up. I have to come back to season two and see what else is going on.
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect way to end shows like this or any kind of show, I think the best way to go about a cliffhanger ending or ending a season 1 is to resolve whatever was going on in season 1 and then set up season 2. Don't just end in a cliffhanger and make the viewers suffer for watching your own show, so I feel like a conclusion is necessary, at least half of a conclusion or whatever we were seeing for the entire season. So yeah, I just hope the season finale is good because the show has been amazing.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
let
just
me
hope.
ask you this. Now, I won't ask you if this procedure, is a reality in the future, would people opt for it? I wouldn't ask that because I know that they will. But let me ask you: do you think that one day we could create something like this, and this would actually exist and get implemented by some companies as an experiment?
In a way, I think we already do, and especially with the metaverse coming with Facebook, because you have your personal lives and you have different people you're friends with, and you act differently around them, and then you have your internet persona where you act differently with other friends. And I don't know if the feelings overlap to each side. The way you act in real life compared to your social media life. Like, are you with the same person? Like, do you have the same thoughts if you were going to do something rather than type something? In a way, we already do, but in terms
Yeah.
of this exact procedure, I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, people do suffer from depression. People do want to get away from stuff. People,
Yeah, that's why I
they
didn't
can't
ask you
face
that
it.
question, because I know
Yeah,
100% people will definitely opt for it.
yeah. And people can't face reality at
Yeah.
times. They'd rather talk about something. They'd rather think about something. They'd rather type about something than actually do it. So maybe there is a way for them to do it where they wouldn't have to actually go ahead with it. And that's the procedure. But they say, I've done it, but you haven't done it. Your split personality has done it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so a variation of this, something like this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think in a way, it already happens. We already do it.
Yeah. And that's actually very well put. I think it can only evolve from here and turn into the extreme scenario of that, which is shown in Severance. So in Severance, it's basically sci-fi. They don't show that much explanation behind it. They just say that, it's a chip that you insert in your brain and it severs. It's just simple. They don't have to over explain anything. You just have to go with it. But yeah, something like that could happen one day, and that will be either very scary or very interesting because of how things might change. And don't tell me that it's impossible, because 50 years ago, we didn't have a smartphone that did literally everything that we can do digitally today. So,
Yeah. Well, also like the Matrix is that too. You have your body is hooked up to this machine, and you
yeah,
don't know your real self or the real world. You're in the Matrix. So
yeah,
it's yeah. I wouldn't be saying never. It's never going to happen.
yeah,
I wouldn't say that.
yeah. So, yeah, let's move on to the next topic of today, which is Morbius. Man. So, I was pretty much looking forward to Morbius because it's Morbius, it's Jared Leto. It's a Spider-Man universe movie. But is it?
Yeah.
So I was excited for that, and the trailer I thought was pretty good, so I was looking forward to that. I mean, I am looking forward to that still. But the reviews have come out, early reactions, and they are not very good. Most people have trashed this movie a lot, and they said that nobody complained about his acting, nobody complained about the story being bad, but most complaints were about superficial stuff. I would say, at least from what I've read, they were complaining about this movie didn't know what universe it was in, or which Spider-Man was gonna be in this, or stuff like there were so many Spider-Man connections that were cut out from the movie that we saw in the trailers, which is actually the main disappointment for me. And there's also another thing that says the VFX aren't that good. So from the trailer, it looked like this movie was made in the, early um 2000s or something like that, because of the vibe that I was getting from this universe. I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of is like an older version of the Venom movie, somewhat older version of the Venom movie. Like Iron Man 1, for example, kind of looks similar to this tone. But yeah, I felt like, I felt so disappointed hearing all this, and especially because they said that they cut out so much stuff, because I was actually looking forward to that, because I wanted this to be in Andrew Garfield's universe, because
Yeah.
he can come back, and there's also Venom, so he could also show up. But in the trailer, we saw Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on a wall. We saw Oscorp from the Amazing Spider-Man movies and some other things in the newspaper, the Daily Bugle logo and all that. And then we saw a Venom joke. So that's clearly Tom Hardy's Venom. And also we saw Michael Keaton's character.
And also, and there was Black Cat Rhino as well. Easter
Yes,
eggs.
yes, and those two. So I don't know, man. I don't know why they would cut that out. And I would be pretty disappointed if they actually do cut it out. Maybe they just cut it out from the early screenings or whatever, but I doubt it because it's so close. But again, one theory that I heard was Sony didn't actually like um, this movie much after it was finished, and the reactions from the test screenings were not good. So maybe they didn't want Morbius in their Spider-Man universe, so they just cut him out. Just one movie can come out, people can watch it, and then it can just get swept under the rug, and they can continue with their Venom movie or other characters that are gonna come. So if they think that this movie can do more harm than good, that's one reason you cut out the Spider-Man connection. But that's not confirmed. That's just one person's theory, and I don't know why they decided that so late, because they had like 2 years to work on this movie, and I just hope that they don't do that. Firstly, I hope the movie is actually good, because maybe I would feel differently if it wasn't. But I don't know how this movie can't be good. It's Morbius. It's a new character. We have no expectations from this. There's no preconceived, you know, expectations from this legendary character. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually find this fascinating because the first Venom got negative reviews before it came out. I think it did get critics did bash it, but it
Yes.
made so much money. And Ruben Fleischer, who directed that, directed Uncharted. It seems his movies, like that happens with his movies a lot. Critics don't like them, but like I find this interesting because Venom 2, in my opinion, I haven't rewatched it, but I don't think it was a great movie. I thought it had moments here and there, but it was very fast paced. Just like it didn't feel like a sequel. It felt like in between of a sequel.
Right.
But like what happened with that movie was it was like a prequel without being a prequel to Spider-Man No Way Home, because I think intentionally they leaked the post-credit scene which featured Tom Holland, and then Venom coming into the MCU, which was big, and that helped the movie definitely, big time, word of mouth, stuff like that. Even though it was a post-credit scene
Yep.
and it was online, people wanted to see it, and that helped the movie. And I thought with the big success of Spider-Man No Way Home and Michael Keaton saying that he's doing Vulture stuff, reshoots for Morbius, that they would add more stuff to it to gain more hype, especially with the movie getting delayed till April. You know, I don't know what they did, because if they didn't believe the movie was like that good, well, it's not like Venom 1 and 2 are cinema. It's not. They're
Venom
really
1 is
good. They're
cinema.
good. Yeah, well, they're good fun movies, but they're not like unbelievably great. And the two first Venom movies made a lot of money. And you have this new, or this Marvel Sony character who's a villain, Spider-Man villain, and there's so much potential there. Why not just shoot a quick cameo? If you have bad faith in the actual movie itself, save it with moments. Have Tom Hardy show up. That's a pretty cool moment. Word of mouth. Show a clip or something, or show some way of either Toby, Andrew, or Tom Spider-Man. That word of mouth gets around, and it starts to build hype. It starts to build engagement around this movie, and people are very intrigued. So I'll go watch it. And they go see the movie and said, yeah, the movie was okay. It was pretty average, but it was cool. That fight scene between Morbius and whatever character, or Morbius talked to Michael Keaton, or Morbius and Tom Hardy had an exchange, or Andrew Garfield. It looked like his Spider-Man in that scene. We didn't get to see it fully. Stuff like that. That helps the movie, and I'm surprised it didn't do that. Now, we're not here saying that this movie needs cameos. It needs Easter eggs to be great for
Yeah.
us to be interested. That's not the point. The point is they put it in the marketing. They
Yeah.
told us A, B, C, and D is in this movie, and it's all connected. So go check it out, and that got us excited. That's pretty cool because the biggest talking points around this movie, and this isn't our fault. This isn't us with pre-existing expectations. They put it in the actual trailers.
Yeah.
They had Toby Stark, they had Michael Keaton, they had Black Cat, they had Rhino, they had the Oscorp from Andrew's World, other Easter eggs as well. So it was them that did this. And now when you go and watch the movie and none of those things are in it, you're like, what? Like, what is this? Where's the hype? So I will be pissed off if those stuff are not in the movie because
Hmm.
that's what I was told was in the movie, and that's why I'm paying to go see the movie is because Jared Leto, Morbius, new story, but also you set up all these storylines. You said this was going to be in it, and now it's not. This is false advertisement. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Justice League 17 in a way. Telling us all this stuff is in the movie when it's not.
Yeah.
Now maybe for the critics they held back. Maybe that's what they wanted to do. But I think there's been fan screenings in London. Is that right? And there was a London premiere. So I'm guessing some fans were at that.
Yeah.
But nothing's really leaked. Like nothing, it would have leaked by now. The word would be out. What kind of big things in the movie? And I think the post credit scene has leaked. But that's like I don't see any engagement being created out of that at all. And then the director coming out being very weird about it in terms of spoiling it. Now I don't know if this was a blunder from Cinema Blend or from the director, but you can go find out like certain stuff about the movie before it comes out because the director spoiled it.
I
And it
think
sounds like
he did that on purpose to cover up the other
yeah,
stuff that came out. He kind of tried to generate hype again. The interviewer asked him that what universe, this movie is in, and he said it's in the Venom verse. Okay, we already knew that. And second thing he asked was which Spider-Man would be in this movie, and he just said, "You'll see."
yeah. It's
I haven't read
yeah,
the other spoilers though, so I'm not sure.
it's not good.
Okay.
It's not good. Um yeah, I don't know. It's surprising. But then again, the movie could be really good. It's just they set themselves to
Yes.
fail because they told us all this other stuff was in it. That could be a thing too. So I think the movie will be good. But yeah, it's going to piss off a lot of people that the stuff that they were promised is not in it. And especially after the multiverse being such a big thing in Spider-Man No Way Home, and everyone wants Toby and Andrew to come back and Tom. It just seems like a missed opportunity not to put something there to say, look, what we're thinking, this could happen. So yeah,
I
let's
I always hate it
see.
when they do that. Not putting in a movie. That is still understandable. You couldn't make it work, right? You already filmed these things. You have the footage. Why cut it out? What are you gonna do with that? They're not gonna put that on the Blu-ray because that just doesn't make sense. Like the only theory that made sense to me of cutting it out was the one that I said. They probably just wanted to
Yeah.
sweep this movie under the rug after it releases. But again, you have a great point because even Venom was trashed by critics before. And there's no debating that critics are very harsh on movies that are not in the MCU, especially Marvel movies that are not in the MCU. So they
And it's
hate
like
the
a, it's kind of,
Sony.
it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a, oh, what's the word? It's kind of like you're stabbing the MCU in the back if you're a Marvel movie and
Yes.
you're not an MCU movie. And the Fox movie for a while,
Yep.
especially when the MCU started coming and being really good. I don't care what anyone says. I think X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix are not great movies, but they're still good movies, and they didn't
Yep.
deserve the reviews that they got at all. But I think if they were in the MCU world and an entry, they would have been better received.
They
And
they
the only
do
movie,
that to bring these characters in the MCU and not
yeah,
let those people handle that.
like the only one that got really bad reviews was Eternals because that felt like more like a DC movie than any other
Yeah.
MCU movie. Felt like an actual movie because they shot on location and stuff like that, and it actually had an interesting directing style and story to it. So yeah, the critics are very mean, but I hope this movie can do well financially because I want to see more of these different movies. Like
Yep.
Iron Man 1, Captain America 1, 2, like these movies are they're really good. They're fantastic, but they're the same formula tone. Now, the MCU is changing it a little bit, but I used to love seeing X-Men movies, Fox movies, Fantastic Four, even though they weren't great. because it was a different take on the characters. You know, it was a different kind of feel to it than the MCU. And I just don't want DC Marvel. I like how DC has the DCU, Joker, Batman, Doom Patrol. It has so many different universes and tones. That's cool. Marvel is starting to do it a little bit more, but I also like to see Sony try to do something else. Like Venom 2 is different, but I want Morbius to do well. I want to see Jared Leto have a comic book movie hit, and I hope the fans can carry this one over. He's doing a lot of press for it. He's doing a lot of touring for it, so hopefully that's enough to gain a respectful box office income for it. Hopefully, but yeah, they should have, they had time. They should have shot something to save the movie. If they had such bad fate for it, they should have shot something with one of the Spider-Mans or do something cool. Tom Hardy even, you know, leak it, get word of mouth out that this
Yeah.
happens. You have to go see it like they did with Venom 2.
And also, you know, they had time to work on the VFX. So I don't know if that's actually a legit concern, but
And
reg-
so Sony's VFX were always better
yeah,
than the MCU for me. So
the
I'm
Venom
surprised
movie,
that
the Venom movie,
yeah,
both of them had pretty good VFX,
yeah,
and Morbius doesn't. I don't think it takes more VFX work than Venom and Carnage. So
mm,
I don't know, man. Look, like you, I completely agree with you. The I like variety in these movies. I love the MCU. Their movies are great, but I also want to see Fox make them or Sony make them. Now, unfortunately, Fox cannot make them anymore. They're just Marvel now. So we'll see how that goes. But we still have Sony who can make these movies, and I'm still, hoping for that Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie.
yeah.
Um,
We have Craven. We have Craven coming as well. We have
yes,
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
So if they want to build this universe, they can't just throw Morbius under the bus and forget about that character. They have to invest in
Especially
the
because his
character.
powers are cool.
And yeah, yeah.
He has
But
to be there.
I could see this movie doing bad, but they still use Jared Leto as cameos, not just
Yes.
solo movies. I could see something like that happen. But I think we expected bad reviews anyway. You know, I
Yeah.
don't think we expected good reviews. So yeah, we'll see when the movie comes out, and we'll see how bad, how much damage the reviews have done, and also if the stuff that they promised isn't in it, because that could actually be bigger than the actual reviews of it.
Yes. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the last movie Leto was in was The Little Things last year.
Well, you must have missed Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh yeah, Zack Snyder
Yeah,
Justice
yeah,
League,
yeah. I
and
think those are the two.
yes, those two, and then I don't think he had any other movie. And now finally he had We Crashed, which is amazing. You all should definitely watch
Oh,
that.
House of Gucci.
Oh yeah, House of Gucci. Sorry. I wasn't missing it on purpose, I promise you.
Yeah.
Yes, House of Gucci. And
Yeah.
then we have We Crashed, which The Little Things we liked it, but I don't think a lot of people like that movie. Justice League, obviously everyone liked. The House of Gucci was controversial. Some people liked, some people didn't. V Crash is awesome. I think most people like it. And now we have this. So it's not like he has been having, very highs or very lows. It's mixed. But his
Yeah,
most recent is V Crash, and I think people will love him in that.
I think his material is always good. It's just he's not a box office attraction as
Yeah.
much. I think he's an internet attraction. I think he gets
Yes.
engagement going. I think maybe he's better suited to TV shows in terms of bringing in people. But in terms of box office, it never really translated over that much. Suicide Squad was big, but he was playing the Joker, and Blade Runner 2049 didn't do well.
That
You
movie I
know,
think hurt
so
him a lot
yeah,
in the
it
movie
probably it
space.
hurt a lot of people. It hurt David Ayer
Yes.
too. You know, so yeah, it did. But yeah, I think yeah, his box office is never unbelievable anyway. So
Yeah. We'll see. We just have, a few days to go. I think 3 days to go, right? It comes out on first.
yeah, it, yeah, I was going to go. It's my birthday the next weekend. I thought it was coming out my birthday weekend, but no, it's coming out sooner. So I got an early present to see Jared Leto. Uh,
Nice. All right.
I'm looking forward to the movie. I'm looking forward to the movie, and I'm definitely going to be there
Me
opening night.
too. Me too. And wow, look at this. Coincidentally, I didn't even do this intentionally, but coincidentally, I have um the next topic is about the Joker.
Yes, there we go. Another Joker.
Another Joker. So, okay, let's talk about this scene first, okay? So this was a deleted scene that Matt Reeves released, and he teased this long ago. He talked about that. He had another scene, which was this one, in the movie, but he cut that out, and he said that he was gonna release it after the movie, which he did. And now we finally got to see it. There was like 5 minutes of it, and I was not expecting the scene to be that long. I thought it would just be as short as the other one that was in the movie. Look, firstly, I would say I I am I'm a fan of Barry Kyogen now. He's pretty good. I think all his roles he has been amazing. Killing of a sacred deer, he was awesome in that.
I haven't seen that one. I
Dude,
haven't seen
that
that
is
one yet.
amazing. That is an amazing movie.
I think it's on. I think it's on Netflix. So I'm going to check it out pretty soon. But I haven't seen that. I've only seen him in Irish kind of an Irish TV show and a movie before Eternals and Batman.
Yeah, so he's pretty good, dude. Like, there's even Penguin in that movie, Colin Farrell. So you should definitely check it out
Yeah.
because it's regarded as one of the best movies by people who actually like thrillers and horror movies. So yeah, it's definitely really creepy. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. But back to his Joker, I was really looking forward to it. Seeing his design, his acting, his performance, and all that. And the scene that we saw in the movie, I actually liked the scene. Although I thought that that scene should have been, either the post-credit scene or should have been cut entirely because even though I liked his performance in that scene, even though I liked the scene, I thought it kind of didn't fit in the movie, at least in the place that it was shown. So yeah, I was really looking forward to his performance, and now we finally see it. I actually really like it. I thought his design was pretty good. The burnt skin, and his he had this birth defect that he always kind of smiles. Um, so that was a pretty interesting touch because it's also similar to something that Leto did in Zack Snyder Justice League. The cross smile. He kind of always has this now, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. He's also a young Joker, which finally, we have Jared Leto Joker was also young, but he's also young, so I'm interested in that aspect as well. He also is a bit um a bit less chaotic than the other Jokers. He rationally talks to Batman, even in his crazy jokes and stuff. He was being a little bit friendly. I like all these characters in this, and I thought this made him very unique. And people might say that his design is kind of similar to Heath Ledger's Joker, and I can see that he could have played a younger version of that Joker, but I see this as a completely different performance from that. The way he is acting, the way he is, moving. I see more of Barry in him, you know? Like with the other Jokers, you rarely see the actor in the character. Maybe Jared Leto showed some of his, in the character, but even here I see more of Barry than the Joker. So I feel that this is an evolving process. So I feel that, as we see him in the sequels, he will actually do more stuff with him design wise or acting wise or performance wise, whatever. I think he'll just build more and more. I think this is just the start of what we are seeing. I don't think this is actually the fully formed Joker yet. And
Hmm.
even though that's the case, I still really liked it. I loved his laugh. That was just perfect. Um, the only issue I had with the scene was okay. I had two issues with the scene. The first one being immediately the audio was shit because it kind of was. It was supposed to be that way because he's sitting inside this, prison, and it's supposed to not be audible much. But if you he's already being mumbly and like that, so you cannot really muffle his voice that much. But again, that's not a non-issue because that wasn't in the movie, so that's fine. Maybe they didn't work in on his audio, and maybe in the movie they would have done that. But the second issue I had with the scene was Batman kind of felt very dumb. Uh, he, it felt like he just wanted to pass the time, so he just went to Joker and talked to him instead of actually getting information. Because I get the concept of why he went to Joker. He wanted to get his perspective because he thinks that he's also a serial killer, so he must know what the other guy is thinking. So I get that. But Joker literally read the file and said to him exactly how the movie played out. And that I think would have taken away from the movie. And Batman is just came off as stupid in that scene. So but I did like their dynamic, the way they were talking, the way Joker was with Batman, the way Batman was talking to him, the way he was looking at him. I thought I it felt to me like this was a little bit of a friendly interaction, if you know what I mean. Um, Similar to the Leto and Batfleck one that we had, because usually it just goes violent, aggressive, and they just hate each other so much. But these two were just playing off each other, right? They were just making fun of each other sometimes and stuff like that. So I like that kind of thing. And yeah, I actually really liked his Joker.
Yeah, and you said a good thing there. Like it could change. You could have an evolution to it. Like this scene isn't canon,
Yes.
so and we don't really get to see him much in the actual scene in the movie. It's very kind of it's in the dark and stuff. So his look could change for the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have to stay the same at all because it's not canon. It's a deleted scene. And they look at the internet, they look at feedback and stuff like that. So they might change it. They might not give him the messed up mouth and stuff. They might just change it to a normal mouth and just maybe make a smile, scars around his face, something like that. Because he is very hard to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And you look, Jared Leto's Joker is well in Suicide Squad was very sexy and a six pack and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know. And Joaquin Phoenix's character was pretty cool. He was well dressed. He had the hair, you know, the cigarette. He was cool. And Heath Ledger's Heath Ledger. Jack Nicholson is Jack Nicholson. But like the only actor for me that has fully kind of been lost in the role is Heath Ledger. Like to this day, when I'm watching The Dark Knight, I can never. I know it's Heath Ledger playing him, but I can never see Heath Ledger in the character
Yeah.
ever. Never. Jack Nicholson, I can. Jared Leto, I can. Barry Kyogen, I definitely can. I can see Barry Kyogen
Yep.
in makeup. But that's not their fault as actors. It's just Heath Ledger's
Yeah.
he's the best. He was the best at doing the character. My favorite characters of all time are Batman and Joker. And people complain that we don't need another Joker. Like we don't need another Batman. And like these characters are intertwined together. You you need them. You need them together. I'm not interested in any Batman story that doesn't feature the Joker somewhere. He doesn't have to be the main villain. He doesn't have to be in every scene. He doesn't have to be even the main villain of the Batman 2 or 3. But he has to be somewhere. He has to be always there. He always has to be kind of a punching bag for Batman in a way. And this he was because Batman goes to him and he's like he thinks that Joker can help him. So I'm not saying like Barry Keoghan can be in Batman 2 and 3. He can be a side character like Penguin or even less. He just needs to exist in the world of Batman
Yep.
because the characters are very, very similar as well. And I think this scene should have been in the movie because for me, I said this after I watched the movie. The movie was missing that oh my god, wow moment. Could you imagine sitting there and then Barry Keoghan showed up with the Joker and we get this 5 minute long scene? Very intense, very interesting, breaking down a lot of things. He takes the what's it called on the paperclip. He takes the paperclip, like little details like that. That's pretty cool. The actual movie was missing that for me. The Riddler Batman scene was cool. The Penguin chase sequence was cool, but it was missing that wow moment, and that was it right there. And people were saying, yeah, it might ruin the movie or it's too similar to the Riddler um, scene. But I think it's actually important because it shows how manipulative and how thought provoking this Joker is, how smart this Joker is. He read that file, he knew straight away what the Riddler was like.
Mm-hmm.
And also that comes back around the end of the movie. Joker's not just being friends with Riddler just because he's lonely and needs a friend. The
Yeah.
Joker looks at the Riddler as a way out of Gotham or a way out of Arkham. He's gonna use the Riddler. The Riddler is a damaged personality. He's mentally ill, and Joker's already saying to him, "People love a comeback." You know, so
Yeah.
he's going to use the villains around Gotham City for his own benefit. And Joker seems friendly to Batman, but at his first chance he gets, he'll get out of Arkham and he'll cause havoc for Batman. He will, and that's what I think was interesting about that scene. Is this Joker is very smart, and he might just be smarter than Batman because this Batman is still learning, and this Batman is a little bit dumb at times,
Yep.
especially in this scene when he comes to
World's
Joker.
greatest detective.
Yeah, yeah, but he's a younger Batman, so he's learning his trade. But yeah, Joker, I think this scene should have been in the movie because it sets up a lot for the future movies and also the ending of the movie. And Barry Keoghan's Joker, I see Barry Keoghan, but it's only a few minutes scene. You get give him a movie and we'll see how well he does. The laugh is pretty good. The interaction is pretty good. He looks scary. It's a very different Joker from anything we've ever seen before. He's very hard to look at, especially his mouth area, which is scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a smaller Joker as well. He's a small guy, so I'm interested to see how that goes because Robin Pattinson's a big guy. So
Exactly.
like,
I love that.
will this be like will he can he fight Batman at all, or is it all going to be a mental game? Is it all going to be like that? So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see Barry Keoghan return as the Joker, and the scene should have been in the movie, or they should have shot a different scene where he was in the movie like this, or a different version of this interrogation scene or this interview scene, because the end scene with Riddler, it did seem out of place, and it seemed very dramatic. It seemed very kind of over the top at the end. And
Yeah.
this is a comic book movie. Guys act like comic book characters. So that's what it kind of felt like. It wasn't really the same as the movie that came before.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 minutes, cool. He took the paperclip, and that's awesome. So he's going to use that for something. But he's using the Riddler at the end of the movie as well, and he knows what buttons to push with the Riddler because he's read his file. I think that should have been kept there. That could have been interesting, and it
But
shows how smart Joker is.
yeah. But don't you think that having this scene in there would have A, made people less interested in the rest of the story after this amazing scene, and B, um feel even more underwhelmed by what goes on in the third act because he kind of, says exactly the same
Maybe
thing, but it
with
happens.
yeah, well, maybe. But a great
That's
scene is a
true.
great scene.
If
It's
you just
it's really
end the movie in the middle, it's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Or um like that this scene with the Joker is it probably should be your best scene when the Batman and the Joker meet.
Yeah.
And if you're going to use the Joker, use the Joker. If not, don't use him. Don't have him at the end of the movie at all. Don't have him in this one.
Yeah.
Keep him for the next one. But if you're going to use the
See, that
Joker,
I will agree with you.
use him.
If they were gonna use that, they should have put both scenes in.
Yeah. And people love the Joker. Walking Phoenix, a billion. Heath Ledger, Oscar, Jared Leto, his analytics online as the Joker.
Oscar actor.
Maybe it's bad. Yeah, maybe it's bad as well at times. But the Joker's an attraction. Gets people talking.
Yeah.
And I think this could have been a big thing guess what? To even push this towards a billion. Because the Joker's in it. Word of mouth. You have to go see it. The Joker
Yeah.
pops up. The Joker and Batman have a scene. Because the Joker has a lot of weight to himself. And the Joker has proved that he doesn't need Batman all the time to make a billion.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix did it. Suicide Squad was a big hit with Joker. So yeah, I would have kept the scene because it is a really interesting scene, and it's the Joker and it's the Batman interacting with each other. I don't think it's as good as Jared Leto Ben Affleck in the Snyder Cut or as good as the Dark Knight one, but it doesn't need to be. It's still a really cool interaction, and I think it would have had a lot of people excited in the theater, probably jaw dropped as well because of how fucked up his face looks. And
Yeah.
maybe they could have changed the dialogue a little bit where Joker doesn't exactly predict what's going to happen in the end of the
Yeah.
movie, but maybe change it slightly to show he is still very smart as Joker. And he can. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes going down the line. And you know what? I would actually like to see this Joker explored in the Arkham series that's coming. Even for
Yes.
an episode. I I think that would be
Yes.
very interesting. So hopefully they do something like that. I think Matt Reeves did hint that they would love to do something with the Joker,
Yep.
like that. But yeah, well, look, he's. I don't know if Barry Keoghan's going to be a great Joker or not, but he's invested into him, and he has to stay with him now, and he has
I
to give
know.
him good
He's
material.
gonna be great.
Yeah, he's going to be the best. But no, he could be the best, but we haven't seen enough yet. It's only a 5 minute scene.
Yes.
The audio wasn't that great. Batman seemed weird in that scene. Maybe they shot it early in production or something like that. Because I think he was cast pretty early. Like it wasn't like he came onto the production late. Barry Keoghan. He was like there from near enough the start. So maybe they shot this before Robin Pattinson fully got into his Batman mode. So that's why he seemed a
Hmm.
little bit off in that scene because they shot it so early in the production and COVID delayed stuff and like that. So maybe that's the case why Batman just seemed a little bit off in that scene. Or maybe Robin Pattinson was just phoning it in because this scene's going to get cut. So I don't. I'm not going to bother. But yeah, it's
But
cool.
yeah. And I also think that, one another interesting thing about this Joker is I think this Batman actually pities him a lot. So when you said that he's very, small and Batman is very tall, and would he fight Batman or anything? I don't think they will fight at all, in the sequel. And I think that's perfect. You can have him just in the background, you know, fucking up Batman's plans or something when he's on another mission, with against another villain or something like that. So that would be actually really cool. But him just playing mind games and all that, and because Batman pities him because of his condition or how he's not too evil yet, at least, maybe Batman doesn't feel that aggressive against him, and might also use him because he is very smart. So I wouldn't be surprised if their interactions in the future aren't too violent. Like this Batman can easily, grab him by the collars and lift him up, and I can see him doing that, and he's just laughing and he just puts him down or something. So I don't think they would fight or anything, but the mental fighting would be amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think this Joker will build himself up more confidently. I think he's playing off Batman in a way, I just think he's very smart. I think
Yeah.
eventually Joker's not the biggest villain around right now. He's not the king of Gotham, but he's getting there. He's going to use all these other villains as stepping stones and eventually be the main, the clown prince of crime, the king of Gotham City in terms of the villains. And I think he'll, in the end, be the ultimate villain for Batman. So, yeah, let's go for it. Let's see how it goes. We have an Irishman playing the Joker, so that's awesome. And
Yeah.
when I first found out about this scene months ago, this is what I was described was a scene like this between the two characters. And I'm glad we got to see it. So it was cool that they actually
You were the
released,
first
some
one
movies.
to get the scoop, and
Well, yeah, I just didn't see it.
dude.
Yeah, but I have pictures. I couldn't find them, but I posted like pictures of the look that Barry Keoghan's Joker has on Twitter, just like with no caption. I can't find them now, but that with the face kind of scarred around his mouth and the hair and Arkham. I forget the comic book artist, but it's pretty spot on. And Barry Keoghan said he spent like 4 hours in makeup, prosthetics for this look,
Damn.
which is interesting because that's the same time that the Penguin Colin Farrell
Yeah.
is in the chair too. So yeah, they put a lot of work in, and uh, yeah, I think Barry Keoghan's he's a fantastic actor. So
Yep.
I want to see him get more time to breathe with the role.
Yeah, I'm really glad about that as well, especially because it's him. Like I said, I loved him in the roles that I've seen him in. And he's definitely got a big future ahead of him. He's now in Marvel and DC both. So let's hope the Eternals sequel gets made because that movie did not do well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But look, this is a different movie, a different feel, and Matt Reeves he's only learning as well. Remember, Batman Begins wasn't the greatest Batman movie. It's still good,
This movie made, I
but
think, thrice that of Batman Begins.
yeah, but
Or
I'm saying in terms of
twice.
like Dark Knight, this movie could be the Batman Begins
Yes,
for the Batman 2 to be the Dark Knight.
exactly.
That's what I'm kind of saying. So we'll see how it goes because
Exactly.
they have to play the game with the studios first time around. I think you get even more freedom second time around because the movie did so well.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's move on. Speaking of Joker and jokes, let's move on to the Oscars 2022. Oh my god. Okay, so firstly, let's let's discuss the actual Oscars, and then we will come back to what actually happened. All right, so starting with, mm, can you see it? Okay, yeah. So starting with best sound. We'll not be going through every single one because there are a lot, but only the main ones. Best sound was won by Dune. I thought that was pretty well deserved. The sound of Dune was amazing. The sound design was
Yeah.
amazing. And I thought that was totally deserved. But I haven't seen the other movies on the list here. But I'm going to get to
This is
Belfast
this,
and The Power of the Dog.
yeah, it's a weird year because I usually would see more of these
Yeah,
movies,
me
but
too.
like Coda I haven't seen. That's my own fault as well. I need to go watch these movies, but I Dune was class.
Yeah, Dune won 6 Oscars, man. That's
I thought
the
it won
highest.
the like
The highest, Oscar-winning movie was Dune yesterday, and its director wasn't even nominated.
yeah we'll get
The
we'll get to it
tragedy of
because
Dune.
we'll get to it because I've seen The Power of the Dog and
Oh, you have?
I think they made a mistake. Yeah, I think they made a mistake with the
Yep.
director.
So next up is production design. Dune again won. That's again well deserved. I thought that was good,
Mhm.
but I would have also not be surprised if the tragedy of Macbeth won because that was also pretty good, man. Like, have you seen the movie?
No,
Dude, it's one of the best looking movies I've seen ever. So, yeah.
what production was that? Was that an A24 movie?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
No,
That's why.
uh,
Wasn't that?
it
Apple
was on
Plus,
Apple
was it?
TV Plus, but I don't know if the production was A24. I forget. I think it was.
I'll look it up.
All right. So the next one is best film editing. That also was won by Dune. And this is kind of surprising to me because I didn't find the editing to be that great that it stood out to me. Maybe that's a good thing because you're not supposed to notice the editing being good. And I'm really surprised why Don't Look Up is here because that's one of the worst editing I've seen ever. But that's just, his style, so I just don't like it.
Yeah, Dune. Yeah, I've no complaints with Dune. Don't Look Up shouldn't have been nominated for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't think good movie, but it wasn't. It doesn't seem like a Oscars movie. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, my A24 did the tragedy of Macbeth.
Nice. So yeah, A24 and Apple TV Plus both have an Oscar on their names. All right. So next up is best costume design. Cruella won. We had no surprises there.
Yeah, I was actually I don't you didn't like Cruella that much. I actually really liked it, but
But the
I
design
think
was good. Costume design. Yeah.
yeah, if you're into fashion and stuff like that, I think
Yeah.
you would have really enjoyed it because there was even I thought some of the costumes were amazing in
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think that had some. I didn't think it would win, but fair play to the I don't know the name, but the costume designer did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the next up we have best cinematography. 100% Greg Fraser for Dune. That's
Yeah,
definitely deserved. But again, even in this category, I wouldn't have been surprised if Tragedy of Macbeth won because, dude, again, it's one of the best looking movies ever. So that's also pretty good. Documentary, animated short. Okay, so the next one is best original score, which Hans Zimmer won. And this announcement came to him when he was sleeping in his hotel room, and his daughter woke him up just to get the award. The most
yeah,
boss thing to ever happen.
yeah. He doesn't give a fuck.
Oh man, he's just like you.
Yeah. Yeah. He was. Me and Hans Zimmer were asleep, man. We were getting some well-needed shut eye, and
Yeah.
he won an Oscar, and I just woke up to see Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. But
So the next one is best visual effects. Spider-Man No Way Home didn't win. Free Guy didn't win.
I thought you were going to say it. Spider-Man No Way Home one. I was going to go on a rant. I was
Nope.
like,
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I actually thought, they might have given it to this movie because this movie has some pretty good VFX, but also it also has some bad VFX in some places. I wouldn't say bad, but unfinished or unrealistic. But that was the point because it's supposed to be fantasy. But again, Dune won this one as well, and I have no complaints because it just looked phenomenal.
yeah,
Best makeup and hairstyling goes to The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which I'm not surprised in the least.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it either, and I'm going to check it out. But I've seen the trailer, and from the trailer itself, people were saying that this definitely deserves an Oscar because they completely changed Jessica Chastain.
Andrew Garfield too.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield too. And best adapted screenplay is next, and Coda won this. And next one is best original screenplay. Kenneth Branagh won for Belfast. I'm actually interested in Belfast because that seems like a Roma type of movie, which is actually good. Sorry, sorry, Roma.
See, I'm Irish, but I don't really. Sometimes I don't like close to home movies, so I wouldn't watch a lot of Irish movies.
Uh huh.
And I was putting Belfast off for so long, but it's getting so much talk around it,
Yeah.
and it's obviously good. So I will have to check it out. I just don't like some Irish movies are just the production value of them aren't that good, but this looks like an American movie, American budget made in Ireland, so it probably does look better than most of the movies. And a lot of Irish movies are depressing, and this movie's probably depressing as well. So, so
Maybe
that's probably why.
maybe I like it too because obviously Steppenwolf is in it, and apparently it's loosely based on Kenneth Branagh's life, real life. So yeah, that's interesting. All right, so next up we have Best Supporting Actor, and this goes to Troy Kotsur from Coda. And I haven't seen Coda yet; it's on my list. Again, but yeah, cool. He's also the second deaf person ever to win an Oscar for acting, and the first man to ever win for acting.
Nice. That's pretty. That's a huge achievement.
Yes. And next up, we have Best Supporting Actress goes to Ariana DeBose from West Side Story. I haven't watched that movie. I'm not interested in
Uh,
that movie. I
I
don't give
was
a fuck.
see. I the movie's like 3 hours long, so I have to. I was gonna watch it one night, but then I like 3 hours long because I didn't want to be. I didn't want to stay up that late. But also like Into the Heights put me off musicals in a way because I didn't really like that movie. I but see, it's weird because I love The Greatest Showman, and Lin Manuel Miranda did Tick Tick Boom, and I loved Tick Tick Boom. Thought that was really good. And then
Really?
like he did, yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. But then he did. See, he makes the songs and musicals and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I thought Andrew Garfield was entertaining in Tick Tick Boom. But Into the Heights, I turned it off for like 30 minutes. Just couldn't get into it. I just didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like any of the actors, so I turned it off. So I haven't seen her full before. Well, no, I want to watch West Side Story because Spielberg, of course, first time doing a musical, and Ansel Elgort, he's in that as well, and the other actress that's causing shit the
Nobody
whole time.
cares.
Is she in that one?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one who doesn't get invited. So I will check it out eventually.
Yeah. I won't be checking it out.
Rachel
I don't care.
Rachel 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 something. Is that
Rachel
her name?
Zegler.
She'd probably go crazy because I don't know her name now or something. She's yeah. Did you see her bit last night from the Oscars? It was like she was presenting an award and she was like, oh, it's like a dream come true to do this. but like you only find out a few days ago that you're going to be on it. So some kind of like dig towards the one of the other award shows she wasn't invited to. It's like, come on, please get over yourself.
Yeah. All right. So next up we have Best Director, and this goes to Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, and she's the third female director ever to win the Best Director award, which is a real shame because there have been movies in the past that probably should have won the female directors, but I haven't seen this movie yet, so I don't know. And I really don't like her at all. So
No, I don't like hers either. I didn't like her comments to Serena Williams
yeah,
about that was bad. That was bad. She was like, "Oh, you are in a male sport, but you don't ever play against the males. I
yeah.
do." Like that was just completely
And they
bullshit.
were sitting in the
Um,
audience.
yeah, yeah. So, Power of the Dog is good. It's quite boring though as well because it's a very slow story and it doesn't really lead to anywhere. There's a lot of underlining metaphorical material there that if you're not like big into movies or a cinephile, you might not appreciate or you might not like. I don't see many people who aren't big into movies finishing this movie on Netflix. Um, Performances are all good, brilliant. I love Jesse Plemons, Kirsten Dunst, fantastic. Benedict Cumberbatch, all give amazing performances. The film looks beautiful because of where it's shot. Shot in the middle of nowhere. I don't know which country, but it's like a cowboy scenario and like a ranch. Great shots, great shots. But in terms of um, like she winning Best Director, I don't know. I haven't seen all the movies on the list, but I don't think it's better directed than say Dune or better directed than other movies I've seen. Like it's well directed, but I don't know. It's weird how they pick this movie for best screenplay, this movie for best cinematography, but then they don't pick that director from those movies. They pick a different
Yeah.
director. So I don't know if it's
I
like she
think
just badly
I
directed,
hate
but
to say that, but I think that she only got voted because she was a woman. And there were already four, because remember these are the Academy members who are voting, right? And they always have political agendas. They always do in their voting. They always do. And she might be a great director, but it having only five spots in here and four of them are men, um I
and
don't think they
also
had a choice.
we have a white man won, a black man won, a deaf man won, a woman won.
Yes.
We all want diversity and stuff like that. But for me, the best performer or best
Yep.
creator should win the award.
Yep.
And I know diversity and all that is good, but when it comes down to it, it should be the best person who wins. And maybe throughout years, the best person did not win because they were a certain color
Yeah.
or because they were deaf. And now that has changed, and they're more open to the idea, which is great. But I don't think we'll ever
Absolutely.
get that balance ever with any of it to say the
Absolutely.
best person is going to win, and that's a shame. So
Yeah. So usually it's also about, not it's not always that best person wins because it depends on the votes of the audience members and all that. So I'm fine with that. And I'm not complaining about the winner here because I haven't seen the all the movies, so I'm not sure about that either. I'm just, saying that her nomination itself is, a token one, I think. But yeah, moving on to Best Animated Feature. Okay, so I thought this one was very, very, very tough because you have Encanto, you have Luca, you have the Mitchells versus the Machines, you have Raya the Last Dragon, and you have Flea. I haven't seen Flea, so I don't know what that one is, but I have seen all the others. Oh, I haven't seen Raya as well, Raya and the Last Dragon. But that was a very successful movie, and everybody loved it. So it has to be good. Um, I thought, this was well deserved. Encanto was a pretty amazing movie. I would have been fine with either three of them winning, Encanto or Mitchell versus the Machines or Luca. I thought they were the three of them equally deserved it. But Encanto, I think it hit harder with a lot of people because it's just a beautiful movie and the songs are, amazing. I thought this movie had one of the best soundtrack albums in a long, long time. Like every single song was pretty good. And it wasn't even like Disney cheerful songs. It had like a hip hop song, it had rap, it had kind of modern songs, but it also had those, other language songs as well. And it was a complete mix of songs and all of them were pretty good. The main thing that I got after watching the movie, and I think I tweeted this as well, was this movie has one of the best song albums of in a long time. But yeah,
Again, like ever since I stopped living with my sisters, dude, I probably have a criminal list of anime movies I have not watched in years. I still haven't seen Coco. I still haven't
what
seen. I still haven't seen the one with. There's Coco, the one with Jamie Foxx. That what's that one called?
Jamie
Um,
Foxx?
Jamie Foxx is in it. I think there's what's it called? Jamie Foxx is the voice of the character. It's like a music movie.
Soul,
Soul. I still haven't seen Soul.
dude.
I still haven't seen The Incredibles 2. I
Soul's
still have
voice
I
was
haven't,
Jamie Foxx.
I, he was one of the characters. I haven't I haven't seen a lot of them, and I haven't seen it in Enchanto or Encanto, however you say it. The Mitchell versus the Machines. I haven't seen any of
Dude,
those
what are you
movies at
doing?
all. Well, I watched grown-up movies. I know. I don't. It's just before this, I was in an environment where these movies were always on or being watched, and I haven't been in that environment, and I haven't created that environment for myself. So I have a lot that I need to catch up on. But I am going to watch Buzz Lightyear because I'm a big Toy Story fan. So I'll watch that one. I'll go see that one.
Look, I love Pixar, and I think, one thing that Pixar does well is it appeals to everyone, regardless of what some people might say. But Encanto is not a Pixar movie, it's a Disney animation movie, and I was really surprised because usually those movies aren't that good. Um, so, yeah, Encanto is pretty good. I would definitely recommend. And the best original song went to Billie Eilish and Phineas for No Time to Die, and not surprised. I don't know
Yeah,
enough about the others for me to have an opinion on this, but it's a
but she's
pretty
only
cool song.
19, and she's 19, 20, and she got an
Yeah,
Oscar.
dude.
That's pretty good. That's awesome.
He
And
also won a
yeah,
Grammy.
yeah, she'll probably get the what did they call it? That thing where they win all the awards.
EGOT.
EGOT. Maybe she'll get that eventually. But yeah, No Time to Die. I'm glad this movie won an Oscar of some capacity because it is the last movie with Craig and
Hmm.
the last
Yeah.
James Bond movie. So I think that's good. That's a good feeling send off for the movie to achieve an Oscar.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Best Actress, which we will not skip. It's Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Again, I haven't seen the rest of the movies. I haven't seen any of the movies in this category, actually.
Who
I haven't even
else?
seen
Who else?
Spencer. Okay, so it's
Oh
Olivia
yeah, yeah.
Colman for The Lost Daughter, which I'm going to see. It's actually on Netflix and it keeps showing up whenever I pause something. So I'm
Yeah,
actually
what?
gonna see that one. Being the Ricardos, I am not gonna watch. I have no interest in that. And there's Madres Paraleas. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, and I'm not gonna watch that either. Spencer, I might check out. Kristen Stewart's Spencer. Because I thought the trailers look interesting. It's Kristen Stewart. She's always great. So yeah.
Yeah, as an Irishman, I don't watch too many English bias movies either. I don't watch The Queen, The Crown. I refuse to watch The Crown. But no, I heard this story though with Spencer with Christian Stewart. Was actually wasn't so propaganda-ish. I heard the family didn't like it as much,
Hmm.
So maybe if the family doesn't like it, that's probably maybe because it's some of it's true, stuff like that. So yeah, Kristen Stewart's a great actress. I'm sure she was
Yeah.
fine in the movie. But Jessica Chastain has been around a while. She's kind of been
Yep.
knocking on that Oscar door. So maybe that adds to it as well. That she's been in line before. And look, and she's a great actress anyway. I know she gets a lot of hate and stuff. You know, some people don't like her. But yeah, I am interested to check out the Fate of Tammy Faye because
Yes.
it's a true story. It's based on real characters, and yeah, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal actor, man. I cannot complain about this win, at all, because I definitely think she deserves this, but I'm just not saying it because I haven't seen the other movies. So, yeah, she's definitely great and deserved an Oscar in her life because her movies, she just performs, outperforms everyone. So yeah,
Yeah.
the next one is Best Actor, and that goes to Will Smith for acting really well in a movie.
Yeah. No, he was phenomenal in King Richard. Really good.
I haven't seen that
And
one yet.
yeah, the minute I watched that film, I was like, he's gonna win best actor for this movie because he was just brilliant. He carried the movie. Everything outside of the movie was good, but he was on a different level. He was phenomenal. He really transformed into that character, and Serena and Venus Williams' dad. And there's some heartbreaking scenes, and it's a really good movie, and he's fantastic in it. So he's been knocking on the door a while too for his Oscar, nominated in the past, and he's finally gotten it. But he might have overshadowed his own huge achievement by what he did previous. But yeah, he well deserved. Who else was nominated in that
Yeah,
category?
so it was Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos. And then we had Andrew Garfield for Tick Tick Boom. I didn't like Tick Tick Boom much, but I thought his performance was really good. He really, he did what Andrew Garfield does. So, um, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog.
He could have won it because he had a very good performance, and there's kind of not a twist, but there's something else going on with that character in the movie, and it's hinted at throughout. And then when it's kind of revealed, I thought Benedict Cumberbatch's performance in that scene was like I wouldn't if he had won, I wouldn't have any complaints at all because he was really good in that movie.
Nice. And then we have last Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth. I thought a lot of people said he should have won when they saw the movie. But of course, King Richard, when they saw that movie, they said that Will Smith definitely is winning.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I thought I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't have been surprised if Denzel won this because again, he was awesome in that movie as well. You should definitely check it out, man.
It,
It's pretty good movie.
yeah, it just seemed like Will Smith's time. It was his time to win.
Yep,
It seemed like one of those.
it's
Um,
been a long time coming.
yeah, no, yeah, and he deserved it. But if any of them had won, probably no complaints either.
Yeah,
But just you were rooting for Will Smith to win uh, before he kind of did what he did. But
yeah. And then we have finally winners of Best Picture. Congratulations to Coda. And I think a lot of people actually thought that this was gonna win. Even I thought that this was gonna win, even without seeing the movie, just because of the material, the trailers, the hype of it, and all that. I'm gonna watch it as well. So yeah, that movie won, but it also
yeah,
beat.
well,
Yeah, go ahead.
we haven't seen the movie, and do you know what? If it didn't win, I probably would never see the movie. Maybe but it makes me want to see it now. Why it won best
Yeah.
movie, Coda, and it's a very interesting. It's all deaf characters, or there's a deaf character. I'm not too sure what the actual story is, but that's interesting in its own right. That the movie
There's one family where
was that
everyone is deaf, I think.
yeah, that's an achievement in its own right. Where it was a deaf
Yep.
movie, doesn't appeal to everybody because a lot of people wouldn't watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I think it must be fantastic if it won Best Picture. So I'm definitely going to check out Coda now as soon as I can.
Yeah. And I was gonna say something, but oh yeah, it's an Apple TV Plus movie. So guess who won
Yeah,
again?
yeah, yeah. So it's
Apple TV
yeah,
Plus now has an Oscar.
yeah. And
So early in its days, they
it's
have an
the
Oscar.
it's A24, and it's Apple TV for me if you want the best quality,
Yeah,
best shot, director freedom type those movies, because they're just fantastic. I
yeah,
kind of I think they must use some alien technology on camera, because it's just looks perfect. Really does every single time. Whether you're at home on your TV watching it or you're in stuff, it looks perfect,
yeah.
perfect.
And it beat Dune, Belfast, Power of the Dog, King Richard, Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Licorice Pizza, and West Side Story.
Pretty big achievement to beat all those great directors and
Yes, it is.
great performances. Yeah, Licorice Pizza was good. I thought it might have won something like, I don't, was there an Oscar for best original screenplay? I
Yes.
thought I might have won something for that. Who won that one?
Best original screenplay went to Kenneth Branagh for Belfast.
Well, Belfast, yeah. I thought maybe Licorice Pizza, I don't think he was nominated for that one, but I don't know if Thomas Paul Anderson created that himself or whatever. I thought I might have won something else because it was really good. Nightmare Alley was really good too. But did you see that movie?
Yes, I liked
Its
it.
tone kind of shifted. Its tone. Maybe that's why it wasn't like a perfect kind of movie. It was interesting.
It was a very weird
It was an
movie,
interesting movie, but
but very
and it
yeah.
transitioned to something else than what it set up, kind of. But yeah, I think it's a great achievement. Spielberg could have won for West Side Story. The Academy loves
I'm
him. He's
so
been around
glad.
long enough
I'm
where
so glad that
he
didn't
doesn't
win,
need
dude.
Oscars.
I'm so glad
But
that
he
didn't
doesn't
win.
need.
Yeah,
I think like nominating him is like it's just he's it's like Meryl Streep, but they don't need the Oscars. But like it just shows that they're the best at what they do. They could easily win Oscars every year if they do. If
yeah,
they really, if the Academy wanted to, they'd probably have no problem giving him an Oscar every year. It's just to give
yeah,
everyone else a chance.
yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed this year's Oscars, and I I was looking forward to watching it, but leading up to it, it was just bad news after bad news, and the stuff that happened in this year's Oscars made it pretty interesting. But before we go to the main trending topic of the Oscars, let's jump on to the Zack Snyder part. So Zack Snyder, so the Oscars, they put out this fan favorite vote and the cheer moment votes. So this was basically a Twitter and website based voting thing that they would present at the Academy at the Oscars. It's not an actual Oscar. It's not a award per se, but it was
It's
this.
it's an Academy Awards acknowledgement.
Yes, acknowledgement basically of
Yeah.
how their viewers, how to grab viewers. But I thought, look, at first, obviously, people would be, shitting on this idea because they're so desperate to get people watch the show and all that. And this award was basically created for the No Way Home fans because obviously everyone watched that movie and a lot of people are super passionate about that movie, and the Snyder fans because we're just a huge number of them. So if you can.
Well, like, yeah, I think it was made for the, because Kevin Feige for years has bitched over it, and the
Yes.
fans have bitched, the actors have bitched that the MCU movies are good enough to be acknowledged at the Oscars, And for me, I don't agree. Ultimately, like Black Panther was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think it was the best movie of that year or anything, but that's a great achievement. But like, this award was made for them. I honestly thought it was going to be rigged. I thought they would win. I thought of Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought these movies would win. and they didn't, and they did it fairly then, which is all. And then you had all these people getting so crazy and like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. How did these movies win? Well, it's pretty simple. It was a voting system. You had to vote for the movie
Yeah.
you wanted to win. Obviously, you didn't vote, or your fan base didn't vote enough. That's why Zack Snyder's two movies won. It's pretty that simple. There was no like, there was no agenda going on. It was
It's
a literal
basically math.
competition.
You know,
Yeah,
the thing that
yeah,
Spider-Man said to Doctor
yeah,
Strange in No Way
yeah,
Home.
exactly. So, I think this award was won with the intention that the MCU movies would win, and you would have this big kind of celebration. And I think the celebrations were cut short because two movies that weren't even theatrical movies, you know, that were on streaming services won, which was a big shock. And I think a lot of people were probably pissed at this, which was amazing. And Zack Snyder was just not even there, and he was acknowledged twice with two movies,
Yeah.
two Warner Brothers movies. Like Army was in a Warner Brothers movie, and they got rid of it with Toby Emmerich sitting in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's the greatest flex of all time. It's
Amazing.
fantastic.
You
But
remember
like,
when we said when we were discussing this because we wanted these two to win, even though I thought, probably the most cheers in a theater ever were No Way Home and Endgame. Like everybody knows
yeah,
that. But
and you know
even
what?
then,
This isn't just for 2020. This is for
exactly.
2021. This is for the history of cinema.
Exactly. And we thought that, if these two won and if Zack Snyder got, if he won and he got acknowledged at the Oscars, this would be a huge, slap on Toby's face because he rejected Army of the Dead and that got made by Netflix and he, chopped up the Snyder cut and he didn't want the Green Lantern in there and all that stuff. He canceled the Snyderverse and he's so anti-Snyder, he doesn't want to acknowledge it, doesn't want to properly release it, all that stuff, right? And that all happened just last year in a span of 1 year. Zach got two movies released. Right in that year's Oscars, his movies got recognized. And Toby, the best part was that Toby was there. Dude, imagine his face
Yeah,
sitting in the audience and seeing that on screen. The flash scene with the music. Oh my god.
if Zack Snyder never goes back to DC, his last achievement or last creation would be acknowledged at the Oscars, and that's unbelievable. So that's cool. The list. Look, we can talk about the list and how weird it is and how it doesn't make any sense, but technically it's an Oscars cheer moment for the history of cinema because it had movies from 1999, it had movies from 2009, it had years. So that means it's the greatest Oscar. It's the award for the greatest moment in cinema history, and the Flash has gotten it, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
Army of the Dead won. I was surprised. I was more surprised Army won, to be honest with you,
Yeah, me
because that
too.
had some tough competition. But the fan base, they all came together in a great positive way. Tweeted out that it is spamming hashtags and stuff like that, which
All
we're pretty
voting
good
is.
at.
All voting
But
is
all voting
spamming.
is, of course it is. So we won fairly. We didn't do anything wrong, So we won nice, fair and square, and people were jealous,
The
but they should have
funniest
voted more.
Exactly. The
So
funniest part about that, about voting more and people not understanding how this won, like, they're the ones that always complain that Snyder fans are just bots. They just want to, spam the hashtags every time and all that. They're only a vocal minority and they just spam. That's why their numbers, show that much. This vote had a 20 tweet per day limit. And
yeah,
even after that,
we used it all. We used it all.
even after that, they actually won. So I'm just saying, man, if you thought that No Way Home was that good and it deserved the win, you should have voted. You should have
Yeah,
voted.
like I voted, but I didn't. I did like I wasn't like
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't
either.
vote every day.
I didn't.
Like
People
I vote here and there, but people were
using the
so
numbers,
precise.
right?
20. I got 20 today. I'll do 20 now. And then the minute it hits like midnight the next day, another 20. Like
Yes.
that's really good. Fair play to people that did it every single day.
Yeah.
I wasn't that hardcore with it. I won't lie. I did it like maybe today and tomorrow, but then I didn't do it for a few days. Just forgot, or I was doing other
Yeah.
things. but people were really,
Some
really
people were
into
going
it, and
like you said, some people were going with numbers, like first tweet, second tweet, third tweet, like that. And I was like, oh wow. But
yeah,
thanks to them, this happened, and I couldn't be, happier because winning one was enough, but winning both was just perfect. Just perfect.
great. And it does. I don't know if it does any good for Discovery coming in and restore the Snyderverse, but it doesn't do any harm
Yes.
because it looks Discovery look at the Oscars and it's like, wait, this movie was acknowledged at the Oscars. That's pretty cool. It's a HBO Max original. Cool. Subscribers there. Why aren't we building on this universe? Why can't we do something?
Hmm.
Which is like it's a tragedy that they're not. It's crazy that they're not. And
You can start with
then
the low
also what?
budget, simple stuff like the
Yeah,
Deathstroke movie or the Atom movie.
yeah, exactly. And like it's kind of embarrassing as well that Army Brothers project and went to Netflix and it was
Yep.
acknowledged as well. So it just shows the incompetence of the studio and the executives big time. But Zack Snyder won in the end, and yeah, it's been he But judging by that, he was the best. He had the best 2021 of any director, maybe.
Yep.
Two massive streaming hits acknowledged at the Oscars. He won a few other awards as well. So, yeah, fair play to Zack Snyder. Voted, and Zack appreciated it, and Deborah appreciated it, and a lot of the actors appreciated it as well.
Mhm.
And what this kind of does as well, I think, is that it could. I don't know if it will, but it could put Warner Brothers in a position with these new executives desperately trying to get Zack Snyder back.
Yeah.
And also, you'll have Netflix who look at this and think, wow, we've invested a lot into this guy and it's actually paying off better than we thought. I think Netflix will desperately try to keep Zack Snyder
Yeah.
for themselves as long as they
Especially
can.
when he's doing 2 Rebel Moon movies.
Yeah. And Zack Snyder's a rich guy. He's done a lot of big movies. He doesn't need the money, of course. He still takes it and stuff. He deserves. He earns money, of course. But I don't think he does anything out of money. I think what he does now is out of happiness and is out of him being in a position to craft his art in a stressful, free environment.
Yes.
And if he's looking between the two, and he's looking back at this ex-girlfriend, Warner Brothers, thinking that was pretty toxic. I wasn't happy. Why would I go back there? Oh, she's changed. She's changed her clothes, which is the new executives. But it's still kind of in the core of that company, and it doesn't just change like that.
Yeah.
That takes a while. You've seen the Bob Chapek. He's the Disney president, the Disney
CEO.
president CEO.
Yeah.
It took him 3 or 4 years before we actually got to see how he was and what he was doing. And it's not all good either. It's slowly after coming around and affecting Disney now. That didn't happen after his first month in charge or first year in charge. It took 4 years, a few years, 2 or 3 years for his stuff to happen. So it's going to take a few years for Warner Brothers to get in the best possible way. So I don't know if Zack Snyder is willing to go back to an environment that was toxic like that. He would have to see a lot of examples of change before he does, And
I agree.
think Warner Brothers have to prove that to him first.
Yeah. Like I definitely think like he should definitely finish, his passion projects, whatever he's currently making. I think he should follow that because that's what he actually wants to make, and that's his original, universe. So I feel like that increases his value even more by doing that. But I also think that he wants to finish his DC arc. Obviously, he has, a lot of passion for that. And I also think that if he is going back to WB again, that it has to definitely be on his demands. It has to meet his demands, which would just be getting him, creative control, getting him the final cut. Because if that's not there, then what's the point? I don't want a half-assed nightmare movie. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want that. I want 100% Snyder or 0% Snyder. I don't want 90 or 80%.
And this could get bigger for him because Rebel Moon's coming
Exactly.
before Dune 2 and before the next Star Wars movie.
Yes. Before Dune 2 comes out, he'll have 2 Rebel Moon movies. Hopefully.
Yeah. So he could cement a new kind of genre of sci-fi, of space adventure, and
Yep.
who knows how far that goes and how far that's acknowledged, because that's going to have amazing visual effects.
Hmm.
So, and if it plays in some theaters, um, it will be, what's the word? It will be available for the Academy to vote on and stuff like that. So
That's true.
yeah, let's see. He's on a roll right now, and hopefully he doesn't slow down.
Yeah. So if you want to support Zack Snyder, go, support Rebel Moon, go support his Netflix projects. But also if you just really want the DC projects and really want to support him in doing that, you can again support Zack at Netflix in his Rebel Moon and all that, because that will actually um increase his chances and likelihood of
And
getting a good
also,
deal.
people could get more people to watch his movie on HBO Max as well, on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
It could get the clicks up there because they see this movie at the Oscar. What's this movie? The Flash is in it? Oh, cool! They beat this movie, that movie, and people go check it out.
Yeah.
That's how that could help.
And speaking of, Oscars and Zack Snyder, we also had this really cool thing happen on the day. So Samuel from Twitter, we follow him. He organized this campaign, and it was so I'll just read the tweet here. This sky banner will fly over Hollywood during the Oscars red carpet from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Over half of the donations from the fundraiser will go to AFSP and Project Hope to help Ukraine with medical supplies. So this is a pretty awesome, initiative, and the plane basically says WB Discovery #Restore the Snyderverse. So this flew over WB, and it also flew over the Hollywood sign, and I think it also flew over the Dolby Theater where the Oscars were being held. So people saw this when the Oscars were happening. They saw this over their heads. So it's a pretty cool, idea, especially because it also accompanied Zack Snyder's, wins, and he was trending because of
Yeah,
that. So if people are not, if people are not if they don't know about this yet, they might be curious and they might check it out. So I think it was a good timing. So this also, was very expensive, and especially because over half of the donations also went to Ukraine and AFSP and all that. So that's a pretty good thing. And yeah, I think it was good.
yeah. Fair play, and it helped. It helped Zack Snyder make an impact at the Oscars without him even being at the Oscars. So yeah, fair play, and it just
It helps
like
in
if he didn't
sending a
win two
message to the
awards,
company.
yeah, definitely, yeah, and like all the stars aligned. The plane flew over. The Army of the Dead won, and Zack Snyder's Justice League won.
Yeah.
That wasn't a guarantee. It could have been just a plane, and that could have been good in its own right. But all three happened, so that was cool. That was awesome, and yeah, good cause, and yeah, that's a very of course it's showing what we want and stuff like that, but it's not selfish because it's going towards different causes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The intention behind it is good. So yeah, awesome and fair play, and yeah, hopefully Toby Emmer got to see that as well. So
Yeah.
wasn't a good Oscars for him, I'm sure. So, yeah, fair play, well done, and hopefully somebody
He had a
notice,
nightmare
it
yesterday.
turned their head.
So
Yeah. He's
his actor.
trying to he's trying to cozy up to Timothy Chalamet as well
Yeah.
on the red carpet.
He's one of his actors in one of his movies also acted up on stage, causing
Yeah.
some PR problems to him as well. His night was not going well.
Nope, that's all he deserves.
So Will Smith yesterday, won an Oscar for Best Acting, but before that, before giving his speech, he actually. So what happened was, Chris Rock was presenting, and he made fun. Okay, so G.I. Jane 2 is still trending right now.
I've just seen that. Yeah,
So he was making fun of everybody basically, but again, he likes to take shots at Will and Jada. I don't know why. maybe they have history, whatever, but he made fun of her being bald, and that was a GI Jane joke or whatever. I don't know what the character is, but basically he made fun. Will Smith laughed, but Jada didn't like that. So we know what happens next. You know, the the husband has to, be a man or whatever, and the thing that happened. So he walked up to stage, he slapped Chris Rock on camera, live on TV, and at the Oscars, especially on the night when he was winning, finally after his entire career in Hollywood. He did this, and he
Yeah.
walked back, he sat down, and he cursed at him, he yelled at him. So while this was happening, Chris Rock didn't even realize that he was serious. So it took Will Smith to go yell from his chair to keep his wife's name out of his mouth. That's when Chris Rock realized, oh, Will was being serious. So
Yeah.
I think that's when probably most people realized. But it also caused confusion because in America on ABC, apparently they cut the audio, which is really unfortunate because I saw it live. I saw it on Disney Plus Hotstar. I saw the whole thing live and nothing cut during my time. And I was like, oh shit, this got serious real fast. You have no idea how watching something like this never happens. This never happens, especially at the
No.
Oscars. It's like the biggest night for these actors. And on the day when he could potentially win an Oscar, he does this. So the
Yeah.
likelihood of this happening is like 0.0001%. Look, first things first, um, we can all agree or disagree or whatever you want to do, however you want to dissect. Violence, hitting people, whatever the reason is not the answer. That's definitely, out of question that you have to agree with that. So I completely agree that Will Smith was in the wrong here. Um, no matter how he was feeling about it, no matter what caused it, it doesn't matter because legally he assaulted someone and in front of so many people, like the entire, not just the entire audience there, but so many millions of people watching. So that was pretty bad. And I
Yeah.
I I think that he made the wrong decision there, and I think he also agrees he made the wrong choice there. And this, it's not like Will Smith is always like that or anything like that. So this was his first time. Probably anyone saw him out of character like this and stuff like that. So it was a mistake. It was a bad decision. It should not have happened. But I also think that Chris Rock uh, handled it very professionally. He said nothing. He just smiled and just moved on with the announcement, and he carried on with the show. The show went on. So that was very interesting to me, and it was also, I appreciated that because he acted professionally. He didn't let that moment derail the entire show, because that could have been the case. They could have just stopped the show, but he kept it
Yeah.
going. So I appreciate that, and I also appreciate that he didn't file charges against him, and he decided not to. So I also appreciated that. So he was being the bigger man here, and he definitely handled it professionally. I did like that. So later, Will Smith apologized, but we'll get to that later. But what did you think of this moment, and how would you describe it?
Yeah. You can clip this part for TikTok and Instagram. I'm not agreeing with what he did was right or wrong, and I'm not saying I'm good. I'm good. Let me start again, because I said no, clip it, so I messed up. No, right, okay. So look, I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong, but the I don't know what I do in that situation, the context of that situation. But I think it's a great imagery for the hypocritical ideals and moral values that we put into celebrities and what they put out to us, that they are perfect and that they want to lead with love and goodness, and that they can't be touched and stuff like that. Because only in Hollywood, only with these celebrities, can a man insult another man's wife, and then that man takes offense to it and gets up and slaps that man in front of the entire world. And then 10 minutes later, he's given a standing ovation and given an award. And then he says he's sorry. And then he says that he wants to spread love and kindness to the world. I just think it's a great imagery to show that we put so much fascination into these people who are people at the end of the day. Yes, he's a movie star, a box office star, been in great movies, but I don't know what I do in that situation. You know, if it happened down the street, I think a fight would happen. I think the person would retaliate, and maybe we would get arrested and get jail, and somebody could die. And that's what happens in real life. But we've been taught that the context of Oscars and the context of award shows is that you can make fun of people and it's okay. And yes, these are comedians. It's cool to take jabs at people and stuff like that. It's good for a laugh, but it affects people as well. But the context, if it happened down the street, you'd want to whoop that person's ass. If it happened on a live show for awards with celebrities and A-list stars, then it's okay because of the context. And that's what we've been told for years. It's okay to do it at an award ceremony. And that puts this into question. Is it okay to do it at award ceremonies? Is it okay to do it in public? If I can do it at the Oscars, why can't I do it in public? Why can't I do it in school? So I think there's a place and a time for certain jokes. And I think the people you surround yourself can probably tell you that. Because I've said things to my friends that I probably aren't right, but it's a joke amongst friends and they get it and they throw one back and it's back and forth and stuff like that. And it may hurt, but we're all friends and we do this. You know, I do with you sometimes, Casey, as well. You know, it's what we do. And sometimes it hurts people's feelings and you don't want that. And this seems like one of those situations where it looks like Will Smith and his family are an easy jab because of the way they live their life. And Will Smith and Jada Smith have an open marriage. That's okay. I have no problems with that whatsoever. It's not my life. It's their business. You know, Jaden, his genders, you know, whatever he calls himself, that stuff, that's fine. People just do whatever makes them happy as long as they're not hurting other people. But you have comedians, you have Chris Rock, you have the Amy Schumers. They make jabs, they make jokes, and that stuff can hurt people. That can, over time, that can hurt people. And that Will Smith kind of scenario maybe was a build-up of jokes over the years. It just pissed off Will Smith a little bit too much. And you know what? Context is important. Yes, we can say that Chris Rock didn't know that his wife had that condition, or it's only a joke. But Will Smith lives with Jada Pinkett Smith. They've been together, nearly 25 years, something like that. So he has seen like her highs and her lows. So we don't know how bad this condition has affected her personally. This could have been something that was so hard for her to deal with. And the only person that got to see that was Will Smith. And now he sees somebody making fun of that pain, of that sadness that she had, and he has to retaliate in some way. You know, so I think it's people can understand why he did it, but then people are saying that here and say that he shouldn't have done it. It was a right, no, but was maybe he right to do it? Maybe he was. I don't know. I can't sit here and say Will Smith's a bad guy or he shouldn't have did it. Would have done in that situation at all. And we're told this is not okay because of the context of the situation. How many times does this happen in everyday life for somebody says something to somebody and they retaliate? Not that they should, but it happens a lot. And I don't know, like I'm pretty calm and peaceful and stuff like that. But if somebody said something to somebody I love and a family member, a mother, sister, brother, girlfriend, whatever, I can't say here.
In real life, that stuff is very common. Just
yeah, and I can't say confidently that I wouldn't do anything, that I wouldn't look the other way. I probably, to be honest with you, I probably would retaliate in a way. So yeah, we're not perfect, but I just think it's an interesting example of our fascination with celebrities and also their fascination of trying to be good all of the time and trying to uphold this image of I am famous and I am great.
One mistake in the limelight can end their entire career or sometimes their own lives. So
that's what I kind of think about it, and it's I don't agree or disagree with what he did. All I can see is what I saw, and he reacted to something that obviously hurt him and his family. So I I think I would have did the same,
Yeah, and
to be honest.
and earlier today we got his apology. He wrote a note on Instagram. He said, "Violence is in all of its forms is poisonous and destructive. My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong. I am embarrassed, and my actions were not indicative of the man I want to be. There is no place for violence in a world of love and kindness. I would also like to apologize to the Academy, the producers of the show, all the attendees, and everyone watching around the world. I would like to apologize to the Williams family and the King Richard and my King Richard family. I deeply regret that my behavior has stained what has been, and it has been, an otherwise gorgeous journey for all of us. I'm a work in progress."
I guarantee he felt worse than anybody else did, than Chris
Yeah,
Rock even did. You know,
yeah,
and I think, yeah, I think we a lot of us would have retaliated in certain situations to stuff being said to us, but I think we would have regretted it. You know,
yeah.
because it's easy
I
to
actually think they talked it out
choose. Yeah,
already. I
yeah,
think,
probably.
yeah. The fact that he
But
didn't take it that seriously, Chris Rock, and the fact that he decided not to press charges, it tells me
yeah,
that he understands why Will reacted that way. And he also just gave Will the space to come and talk to him or whenever he's in his right mind or whatever. But it's good that Will publicly apologized. It gives him a
yeah.
good PR look as well. So yeah.
But you could say that like Chris Rock shouldn't have said it, and he's a coward for saying it. But then I would actually turn it on its head. I would actually say that Chris Rock is actually pretty brave not to retaliate in that situation,
Absolutely.
because he could have made it a lot worse. He could have hit him back. He could have, it could have been a lot worse
He
than
could
it did.
have
But Chris Rock
used this
understood.
because Will Smith is huge. He could have
Yeah,
sued Will Smith.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It could have. Yeah, it would have been the biggest thing in history of anything, because Chris Rock probably acknowledged that maybe I overstepped the line. I didn't mean to. It was a joke, but okay, it obviously hurt him. He retaliated. I took it on the chin. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. End of it. That's it. It's over. I don't think he would have given much afterthought, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, that ends all the topics of our show today. So thank you everyone for
Did you
joining.
did,
Yeah.
did you add Sonic, or you didn't add Sonic? No,
Oh, I didn't. I forgot.
that's okay. It's okay. It's out. Yeah. Anyway, it's okay.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining. It was awesome talking to you guys, and we have some comments here. We can read those before we leave. So your brother, your brother also joined the stream, so that was pretty good. He wants to release the haircut.
Yeah, he likes the
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad movie that we got to see in 2016. Went to go see it opening night. He loved it, but he wants to see more. So
Yeah.
yeah, he likes bad comic book movies.
Well, Naomi was also here. She said, Encanto hit home for me with a heavy impact. My relationship with my dad is very much like Mirabelle's relationship with her abuela, but no happy ending. Yeah, a lot of the Pixar movies are like that for me as well, Naomi. It's very, these stories are always very personal. Um, that's why I think they are universally, loved, because they're just everyday stories you almost anyone can relate to, and most people have experienced in their lives. So yeah, I'm not surprised, and that's one of the reasons why I love the movie. But again, this is not a Pixar movie, this is a Disney movie, but it felt that it had that DNA of a Pixar movie. But I totally get you, yeah. And Joss L said, um, Netflix is gonna have a great sci-fi franchise with Rebel Moon. I agree. And he also said something which I don't know if we should talk about right now because I haven't seen that news yet. But Naomi says Will Smith isn't Toby Emmerich's actor anymore, more than Zack Snyder is his director. That's true. Um, that's true. I was just making fun of Toby. But yeah. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. We'll definitely be talking more about, Morbius, and April is just a fun week, so we'll have more awesome things to talk about. We have the new Star Trek remaster, which Mar you'll finally be watching, I think. Finally, the first Star Wars movie ever, hopefully, because it's going to be
Hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
We also
Yeah.
have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm hearing that's a pretty awesome movie, just like I expected from the trailers. It looks amazing. So yeah, April has some pretty amazing movies coming. So we cannot wait to talk to you guys about it. And with that, you can,
Um,
yeah.
I was gonna say Ambulance, Michael Bay, Sonic. I've also got
Oh, you have
Morbius.
Sonic
Yeah,
too.
some
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So the some interesting, exciting movies. I like Michael Bay, I like Jim Carrey, and I like Jared Leto. So it's gonna be a good opening few weeks of April for me.
uh-huh. So you can follow me at Krypton Cage. You can follow the channel on all social media at The Real Talk Live. We've been posting shorts, and Mar, you've been doing an amazing job. Let me tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, there's the little 30, 40 second clips of the live show in TikTok and Instagram, and some of them really take off. I think we posted one last night, 4,000 views. I posted Miss Marvel one from last week earlier. It's got 2,000 views. So those do pretty well, and it's awesome. So the channel, through the live streams, through the individual videos, TikTok, through Instagram, the channel and the shorts on YouTube as well. The channel is actually getting a lot of good views and a lot of good feedback. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, the community we are having here is amazing because we don't usually speak about random bullshit or hypotheticals and stuff. We like to keep it a facts and have news
Some
and actual
some
breaking news
channels
stuff.
some channels are what if.
Yeah, but yeah, we will look forward to seeing you guys again next weekend. So until then, goodbye and take care.